Hello everyone and welcome to my quick review of Lincoln's 2021 Aviator Grand Touring. I've already covered the Aviator to some extent on this channel when it first appeared a year ago, and to put all of my thoughts of that review into one quick sentence, I liked the product, but I wanted to like it more because it's a gorgeous design. It has a lot of competitive features, but the build quality in that particular vehicle wasn't at all impressive given the price. But the reason why I'm back in an Aviator is that the Grand Touring is the plug-in hybrid variant of this mid-size unibody 3-row SUV. I'm a huge fan of hybrids, plug-in hybrids and EVs, so I wanted to give this one a go, as it did seem like a pretty comprehensive update over the normal 3-litre twin turbocharged V6 of the standard Aviator. So you still have that engine plus a 70 kilowatt electric motor in between the engine and the 10-speed transmission, and a 13.6 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery pack. This provides a total peak system output of horsepower and torque of 490 horsepower and 630 pound-feet of torque. Apart from the electric charging port and the blue badging for the exterior on the Aviator, there's nothing really else to point out, other than you do have the two additional driving modes, Preserve EV and Pure EV, which essentially alter the characteristics of how you deploy the electrical capability of that 13.6 kilowatt hour battery. In Preserve mode, it's not utilizing the electrical power and instead charging up the battery as you just drive along, and in instances where the engine would shut off, coming to a complete stop like I am right now, the engine will continue running so it can continue to feed a little bit of electricity into the battery pack. And then with Pure EV, pretty self-explanatory. You will, if you mash down your foot onto the throttle, engage the engine again. It doesn't totally lock out the gasoline engine, and Lincoln claims that you can get 34 kilometers of pure electric range, and you plug it in through conventional household means, either a 120 volt or 420 volt, and every time that you get out of the car or turn off the car, it will tell you the two different charge times, whether you're going for 120 volt or 240 volt. I like that feature. And driving along in the Grand Touring, we already have quite a good amount of engine and transmission isolation from the cabin, so if you were to get rid of the tachometer that you can customize in the digital screen, there's many occasions where I really wasn't sure if the engine was running or not. It is that smooth and that quiet, but that isn't so well translated into the rest of the driving experience, because I have noticed on more than a few occasions that the shifting is a little clunkier than what I remember last time in the previous Aviator. The brakes are just all over the place, not even comparing to a normal Aviator, but I've been in so many hybrids and plug-in hybrids recently where I feel like they're 99% there and getting that right feeling out of the brake pedal to a conventional system, but this feels very, very inconsistent. So much so that I'm often questioning my inputs of the brake pedal to get the outputs that I want. With that power figure I gave earlier, it is impeded by the additional 650 pounds added onto the Aviator Grand Touring. So even though I can tell there's quite a bit more torque down low, and there's a little bit of a boost so that the turbo lag doesn't seem consequential, I'm not quite sure that the larger numbers are well represented in delivering a more richly powerful, more exciting, more exhilarating driving experience. The Aviator beyond that is quite a floaty, very well refined vehicle, and sometimes can feel a little sloppy in the corners if you want to push it, but if you're going at a calm and stately manner, I think the Aviator GT is quite a competent vehicle. But unfortunately, given the additional price of this plug-in hybrid variant, it's another $12,000 on top of the standard Aviator. The issues that I had largely with the cabin of the previous model have unfortunately carried over here. There are some things that improved. So in the last one that I tested out, I complained that the brace and the touchscreen weren't very well put together. In this, there's still, you know, a little bit of creaking, a little bit of movement, but significantly better than what it was in that last version I tested out. But again, not perfect. On this driver's seat, there's 2 spots where 2 threads of stitching have already become loose, and this vehicle has less than 4,500 kilometers on the clock. So that is quite disappointing. Otherwise, the Aviator Grand Touring is just as practical, just as good looking as its normal internal combustion engine sister. So would I recommend this over the normal Aviator? I honestly wouldn't, and this is coming from someone that loves plug-in hybrids. I love that when I am coasting to a stop, I'm using no fuel. I like the gamification of trying to build up that battery level so that you can have a more efficient drive, but it has a very hard time in this particular circumstance making the case over a vehicle that I think is decent enough but needs quite a bit more time in developing to improve itself to become a more competitive product. So there you go, quick thoughts on the Aviator Grand Touring plug-in hybrid. Thank you very much for watching. Please do check out my core review on the Aviator. That will go much more in depth into the experience behind the wheel. Thank you very much. Hope to see you again on the channel soon.